Recording now.
Okay,
This will be kind of like some beef footage type stuff before we get to the actual episode.
sure.
So yeah, that. Worst part is I just went over the story I could have told for the B-roll, which is really funny, and I'm not telling it again. I may do it after, or whatever. Yeah, so we got like 3 minutes here. So you want to just hop on a bit early and just call it sweet?
Sounds good to me.
Sweet. Right. And before I do this, because I know I'm going to do this midstream, and a good thing I caught myself just now, because if I didn't do this, I would forget all my fucking points, and I'm like, I'm not doing that again. So, um,
I have my whiteboard written down with and I don't even have points necessarily written out. I just have the list of the movies and when they're coming out, so that I can reference in my brain for them.
I don't know. This is more for me because I literally wrote out my theories and ideas for Phase 4 moving forward and such,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, shit. If I don't have this, I'm fucked. So
Yeah.
it's good to have this open. All right, cool. Now it's here. Awesome. Okay, now we can go into Twitch. Oh, great. Okay, and going live. And this is about as boring B-roll as you can get. And we're
It,
live. And here we are. So, welcome everybody to the Ryan Cross Project's first Twitch stream. Yay! I should be more hyped about this, but it's really anticlimactic for what I wanted it to be. But hey, because Twitch is usually a gameplay thing, I was like, let's play some video games. Let's do a podcast.
hey, it'll be fine. You know what? You can't. You're going against the trend, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so speaking of the trends, we have Marvel Phase 4 coming up in less than a year. I would say 6 months or so, right? Black Widow and all
Uh,
that fun stuff.
yeah, Black Widow starts in May, so honestly, at this point, it's less than 5 months. So
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, it's a new year. Fuck.
yeah, yeah, it's hard to get used to.
Yeah. Which is even funnier because this is my first episode of the new year. Yay!
Yeah.
And this is the one I would actually have released because other things are under wraps until something else gets released. It's a whole thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we're going to be talking about our theories and our predictions. I don't know why I named this thing theories and predictions. It's more just theories and whatever, but I guess.
Hey, we'll have some predictions in there, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't doubt it, but it is what it is. All right, so Phase 4. So why don't we go over what's coming out in Phase 4, and then we'll kind of bounce back and forth from there.
Sure.
You had the list.
You want me to do the list? Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. All right.
yeah, yeah. Because I'm like,
So
I only have the theory part of this. I'm like, you said the
that's
movies. I
good.
was like,
That's good. I
cool.
got it.
You
I
take
got
that.
it. I got it. I got it. All right. So phase four, what we know about so far, at least, I mean, because there's definitely more. All these phases always seem to end with a big team up movie of some
Yeah.
kind, whether it be Civil War or the Avengers movies to a degree. So this is only the list we know so far for the next 2 years. So for all we know, phase four could go 3-4 years, depending on how long it goes. I don't know. We don't. This is
Right.
just what we know about. So
Yeah.
phase four kicks off with Black Widow this May.
Hmm.
And then after that, it's a bit of a lull until Eternals come out in November, which again, Marvel's known for taking shots on some of their lesser known comics.
Oh
And
yeah.
phase four is ripe with lesser known comics.
Mm.
So you got Eternals in November, and then on the same trend, February 2021, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is literally the most unknown comic to me that out of anything that's been released in a mainstream level.
Yeah.
Um, and then after that, you got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which
Nice. Always a good
I'd
thing.
say, yeah, I'd say that's in May 21. I'd say that's probably the out of the what's in front of us, the biggest
Oh yeah.
movie that they're going to be making. You know what I mean? Eternals is probably going to be huge too, but out of like known properties,
Oh yeah.
that's probably
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
biggest one. And then from there, obviously, from there it keeps getting bigger because then they roll into the new Spider-Man 3, which unknown sequel to Far From Home comes
Yeah.
out in July 21, and then Thor: Love and Thunder rounding out 2021. So those are the known movies that are getting released at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Also, a quick question: do you want to include Morbius on that list?
oh, I thought you were doing just MCU.
No,
So,
no, no.
but
But
I guess
no, no. But that's the thing, though, because it's like, how do we
is
want
it
to? Because it's connected, but
so?
it's
Then
connected adjacent.
I
So I'm
think
like,
we have. All right, so we can include it. I
yeah.
didn't write it down, but that comes out
And
February this year,
no, no. It says
right?
summer. It just said summer.
Oh, it
I
did?
saw, yeah, I saw the more.
Okay.
I did a live blind review with Dave. Oh no, it's just in the first, it's like the second thing of the whatever. I lose track, but we did a live review reaction of the Morbius trailer.
You're
So it
right.
said summer, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, yeah. So because
We can
that,
include them. Let's include them because Morbius
yeah,
and Venom 2. Venom 2, they're all coming out. I don't know if Venom 2 is 20 or 21 though. But
I would have to check on that. But I don't
yeah,
remember.
but
Yeah,
they're definitely both like in this slate of Marvel movies that are coming out.
yeah,
And you know what? If that Morbius trailer is any indication, there's definitely some crossover going on
yeah.
with
That's what
there's
that's
a
the main.
crossover going. So you could include it, I think.
Right, that's the main reason I said that because I was like, hang on a minute. Are they saying? Because remember what they said? It was like Spider-Man: Homecoming, Spider-Man: Far From Home, and
Yeah.
Venom. Like
Yeah.
we have this other thing too that made $1 billion.
Yeah, I think whatever New Deal, and I said this after when all the shakeup was happening with
Yeah.
whether or not Spider-Man was coming back. I'm pretty sure whatever the New Deal is that was struck,
Mhm.
they can loosely connect their movies as long
Oh,
as
yeah.
as long as they're not pulling in like Tony Stark references
Oh, yeah, yeah.
or like anything like that. I think like hinting to anything that's happened in the Spider-Man movies that
Mhm.
that are definitely MCU are probably at least okay at this point.
Right.
If not, they're probably all entirely connected from this point moving forward, with all the like final checks done by Kevin Feige at some point,
Yeah.
being like, I mean, I don't think he's going to be like producing them obviously,
Right.
but he'll be like, he'll give them his seal of approval on any story beat they're trying to do. I think.
Right.
So
Yeah. Which I know we're talking MCU. It just this one thing just ever since I saw this film theory, and I love I'm a huge shout out to Matt Pat and the crew at Film and Game Theory. I love those guys. But it's like you should watch a two-parter on Disney buying and Disney just stealing. I put massive air quotes over stealing Spider-Man
yeah,
because he explained the whole game theory. Long story short, Apple is looking to purchase Sony Pictures, and if that happens, Spider-Man goes back to Disney automatically. And I'm like, oh, so it's like, do they pay the $5 bill? That's Bill with a B.
Mm.
Or do they just wait it out and then have them do their own thing? So I'm like, oh,
uh,
that is a very good question.
it's hard. So part of me, obviously, Marvel's done it right. Right?
Yeah,
They have really had zero. They have a sandbox they make people stick to, and they usually are pretty. The directors are usually pretty good about it, and the stories you can't argue with what they give you, right?
right.
But I also don't like the idea of all of this creative content being controlled by one conglomerate.
Right.
So I don't know where I really fall with it.
Yeah.
I do think that for Marvel's sake, they need to keep Spider-Man and his,
Amazing Friends.
his amazing friend in house because he's literally the biggest draw you have now.
Yeah,
I mean, you killed off Cap, you killed off Iron Man, who
Yeah.
weren't A-list characters to begin with, but they became A-list characters over the
Yeah.
course of your movies. And Spider-Man's your next big thing. Now they
Right.
do have the X-Men and Fantastic Four back under their house, so that alleviates some of that. But until you find a way to bring them in, like in a conducive way, then you're pretty much you have Spider-Man and Thor, and you can't imagine Chris Hemsworth's going to want to keep doing Thor for the next 10 years.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong though, because all his movies outside of the MCU have been pretty fucking terrible. So I don't know.
Same with unfortunately same with RDJ. It's like, all right,
Oh,
you
yeah.
just wrapped up with Iron Man. What are you gonna do now? Doolittle.
Mm.
By the way, I was just watching SCN live. Again, more shout outs to people we watch.
Hey,
But-
I love Zen Live, and if the
Yeah.
off chance that they watch this and they hear we're talking about them in a good light, then
Yeah.
good, because
Yes.
they're doing marvelous work out there.
No pun intended.
Marvelous work.
Anyway, they're doing great things. But what was it? They just talked about how Doolittle's gonna lose.
$100 million.
Yes, I'm like, oh, damn.
That's rough.
And that's domestic too, and I'm like, okay, but yeah. Getting back on topic though, Phase 4. Another thing that I found really funny is that things like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Hawkeye are going to tie into Phase 4. These are all the Disney Plus shows, so I have that list on my phone.
Right.
So it's like, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, actually, I saw a pretty interesting development that even though Captain America is going to be, like, Chris Evans is out as Captain America, there's a new Captain America, air quotes, in, what's his name? Oh, the
Falcon.
No, No, there was another guy in like an actual like shield and suit and everything. I forget where I saw it. It was on Facebook. But
Oh, like
he
not Bucky Barnes, not
right,
Sam.
right.
It's.
Oh no, hold on. I'll look it up real quick. Sorry, I wish I thought about that earlier.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Captain Russia, whatever the fuck his name is from
Oh no, no,
the Black Widow movie?
no.
David Harbour.
No, I'm not thinking about that at all. Believe me, it was something else. Right here it is. Wyatt Russell spotted filming Falcon and Winter Soldier. As
Oh, he's Baron Zemo.
no, actually he. Um, I wish I could pull this up for the people watching Twitch. But according to page6.com, where is it? I just saw the photos. Dude's in like a full American military thing. I'm trying to find the right picture because there was a picture here of it, and I'm mad I can't find that pic. Oh, here, one of six. Duh. It's like the second picture.
Not Baron Zemo. Who the fuck am I thinking of? that was the wrong name. Um,
John Walker, U.S. agent, upcoming Disney Plus series.
Walker.
Uh, Photographed in both a Captain America and military uniform while filming on Monday. So this was
Hmm.
like either
I like Wyatt Russell. I like Wyatt
yeah,
Russell, but I don't know. I don't know the character. I don't know the character he's playing.
yeah. Um, there's a whole other thing with that. I'm gonna just kind of leave alone. Where are we? Where are we on? There we are. Duh. I'm looking at tabs. Where are we looking for a Twitch tab? I'm like, that's not the right tab. Yeah. So, very, very.
We need to get our production assistants to fix this problem real quick.
Intern. Oh wait, no, no, it's just me. We need interns. Anyway, but yeah. So getting back on topic. So that's a nice, interesting little thing
Yeah,
that was thrown in there.
I'm not really sure how the shows are really going to tie in. Obviously, the Loki show is off in whatever universe it is that he captured that the Tesseract and
Right.
disappeared.
I
Like that's the
think
plot line for that. It has to be. I don't know what
I
it's going to be, but
I would like to think that it's like Loki and What If are like kind of tied together because if he
Mhm.
can like hop around, he might hop realities, which would be awesome.
Right.
But all the Infinity Stones are kind of centralized to their own reality, and I'm like, oh, that's a bad dig.
Yeah, dude. There's some serious plot hole issues that
Yeah,
these Infinity Stones have left in this universe.
yeah.
I obviously love the way that Endgame ended, and I loved
Oh yeah,
Infinity War. And I love the build up to all this,
yeah,
but like, there's some serious continuity issues that I think we're gonna have to figure out with these
yeah.
shows and these movies moving forward.
Speaking of which, and I hate to say this, but it's like I was trying to go to sleep last night. You know those memes that are always like, it's like a picture of your brain. Okay, we're going to sleep now, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you're just
Yes,
like wide awake.
right. That was me and this whole Captain Marvel. It's like unless toast is sliced diagonally, I won't eat it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to that, and I'm connecting Age of Ultron. And I'm going, oh, fuck, that wasn't Fury, because it was sliced
well,
this way, and I was like, fuck. And then
well, we don't know when Fury disappeared. There's
I know,
no.
but there was definitely like bouncing back and forth just because of that one little detail, and I'm like, I'm starting to map it out in my head. I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to go to fucking sleep.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is the thing that's crazy about the post credit scene in Endgame, or yeah, it's the
Far
post
from
credit
home.
scene in Far From Home, where he's in the floating off in space or whatever.
Who's got my shoes?
What is the tie-in there? What I know it's just funny that he's off in space, and maybe that's all it is. But like, what future tie-in movie is that supposed to be? Eternals? Maybe I don't know. But I thought the Eternals
Not,
were all on Earth, so I
not,
don't know.
not Eternals. I'm gonna have to look this up again, but it's Sword.
Oh
SWORD.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
They're like the
that
space.
could be yeah, that could be replacing Shield, but
They're like the space Green Lantern Corps without powers.
no, that's Nova. That's the Nova Corps.
No, Nova Corps. Sword's the same thing, but they fly around literally in a spaceship with the
Whatever.
fucking.
But yeah, so that was that whole thing, and we're getting onto theories now, which I'm like, finally, we're going somewhere, because we both know this will just be like this thing. Topic. What topic?
Well,
All
I think
right.
we got we got the shows covered. I think maybe the best thing we can do is go movie by movie
Yeah.
and think about where we think is gonna happen.
Well, that's okay. So if we're going movie by movie, let's start backwards with Thor: Love and Thunder, because I have I'm gonna throw some names out there for you because I want to see what
Sure.
you most agree with for Christian Bale. Who Christian Bale's gonna play, and
Okay.
then we can kind of get the theories to link together and such. Let's see. So possible roles. Two popular ones are Professor X and Magneto. Like that would be weird. One of the few that came to my mind, another popular one's Beta Ray Bill. One that came to my mind since they just reacquired the things to Fox, and it's going to be the Cosmic movie,
Mm-hmm.
Silver Surfer. Because why not?
Maybe. Um.
And another few that came to mind were Beyonder, set up Secret Wars, maybe.
No, the Beyonder. That'd be a good one. I don't know
Um,
if Bale's. I don't know if I fit Bale's who had cast for that role though. I feel like he's the Beyonder. You got to go with somebody who's kind of like swanky and like a little like
See, I would have
little bit
loved.
like an ass.
Yeah,
not that Bale can't be an ass, but I'm just
right,
he doesn't scream Beyonder to me. But no,
right.
keep going, keep going.
I would have. Speaking of not to bring that up, I would have loved to have seen Jeff Goldblum as the Beyonder. That would have been funny.
Well, I think they took a lot of hints for his character from the Beyonder, at least
Yeah,
from the comics that I've read.
yeah. Another few were going to be like a time traveling Franklin Richards, which would have been weird.
Mm.
Um, Mephisto, maybe. Gore the God Butcher came to mind, which could be really good. Um, Black Bolt, Doctor Doom, Adam Warlock, Gladiator, Galactus, Annihilus, Quasar.
Jesus, but he was naming all the big villains. Jesus.
No, I'm just naming like all the cosmic-ish people. I'm like, that's all I could think of.
So I would think that if it's a Thor movie, it's a Thor movie, right?
Yeah, Thor movie.
And you're probably going to try to stick to as much Thor direct contact or content as possible.
That's
And
true.
to me, Beta Ray Bill is the obvious choice.
Yeah, I mean, Beta Ray
Uh,
Bill's the obvious choice. I'm just thinking of like 16 others that it could be. That it could be.
I
But
think you want to save your Galactuses and your Nihiluses.
yeah,
In fact, honestly, a Nihilus, if you want to go, because if they get Fantastic Four back, they got Fantastic Four back.
yeah, they did.
They're gonna so you're gonna go to the cosmic realm to get their abilities because you've done the other version where they just get hit with the fucking radiation too much.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So if you're gonna go with cosmic and Ant-Man would be a great tie-in for this too, because helping create the rifts to the different worlds and they could be
yeah.
a team that's exploring it. But Annihilus is an excellent villain to bring in.
Yeah.
And then you have Doctor Doom as the setup for the next one because
Right.
Doom's been done to death, but
Yeah.
he's also never been done good. So I don't want him to be the first bad guy though.
Yeah.
But Annihilus is a great bad guy to bring into the Fantastic Four first movie.
I mean, Annihilus for me would be one of those that it's like, say, what's it called? Like, whoever's playing Human Torch's contract's coming to an end, and they're like, they want to send him off. Annihilus would be that guy. Because that's how Johnny Storm died in the comics. I'm like, pay tribute
Yeah.
to that a bit, but that's
But
down the
dude,
line.
that's like 20 years down the line. If
I know,
got
but still,
they
just
got
like it's
Johnny
like-
Storm back. They're not killing him in the next 10 years. um,
I know, but
but-
that's like it's down the line. But that's where I want to see Annihilus. Like that's one of the things where it's like it leaves on like a cliffhanger, like Endgame and Infinity War were. So it's like Annihilation, and then whatever else.
well, you can't do it. I guess I don't know what the plans are for writing Nova into the storyline, but he's huge in Annihilation. He's huge, so that's
Yeah.
like I can't imagine you would be able to do that story until you have that further space realm developed, which is
Right.
what they're doing. They're doing that, but yeah, my money's on Beta Ray Bill. I feel like that's a character that they want to introduce, and I feel like Bale playing off Hemsworth as Beta Ray Bill.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just hearing Bale's British voice because it would have to
Welsh,
be British.
yeah.
Or Welsh, whatever the hell he is. You have to hear his having his Welsh accent come through as Beta Ray Bill
Yeah.
would be hilarious. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just can't stop it. As soon as I heard that rumor that it was Beta
Yeah.
Ray Bill, I was like, oh my god, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But he's not really a bad guy, so I don't know what bad guy you're setting
Right.
up for this movie. Or maybe it doesn't even need like a bad guy. Maybe it's just a set of circumstances with Thor because it is Taika Waititi
Yeah.
where it's like he loses his abilities to Natalie Portman, and he's like, "Shit, I got to get my abilities back." But he gets them back just in time for Beta Ray Bill to take some of them. He's like, "God damn it!" He's like, "I
No,
could just see it being straight comedy."
No, I would love to see like Beta Ray Bill comes in the first half, takes Stormbreaker. Fuck. It's like that one, like we got Peter Dinklage coming back. Is like, I can make you another Mjolnir. Do that. Freaking Natalie Portman takes that. What the fuck? He's just sitting there like, well, I'm done.
Yeah, it's funny to
I'm
me
just
that
working on my Bowflex.
on me for a second. Oh, there you go.
No,
All right.
it's like
Never mind.
I'm just
Sorry.
gonna work it on my Bowflex.
Now, here's the question: do you think Thor in Love and Thunder? Do you think we're gonna get? Because I actually thought they would do Guardians 3 first. I know that there was the
Oh,
James
yeah.
Gunn issue, and
As
now he's
Guardians of
back.
the Galaxy, yeah.
So that's an interesting place because I don't know what they'll do. I imagine they'll tie up something in Love and Thunder that will have a quick scene with the Guardians, like kicking him out of the ship, being like, "You're driving us nuts," and then he's like, "Come on!" And then,
No, it's like everyone loves him except Quill. He's like, all right, guys. To be honest, I think Thor's got to go. He's got other things. He's dragging too much trouble. He's eating Drax's food, for crying out loud. It's really him eating, but he's gonna blame it on Thor. He's gotta
No.
go.
they do love Thor, but I think
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see them eventually not love Thor,
Oh, yeah.
and then all of a sudden it just shows them maroon him somewhere like Jack
It's like-
Sparrow, and they're like, "See ya."
Uh, he's got a
But-
blaster with only enough charge for one more shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that Quill.
Oh my god.
Fantastic.
Great. That's great.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the bad guy's gonna be, but I have no issues whatsoever believing that Taika Waititi is gonna deliver a fantastic product with Thor
of course.
4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that again, those are just all of the names I could think of.
yeah,
And
no,
I
no,
put
no,
them
no,
in
no,
list
no,
form,
no.
So it's even better. But yeah, getting back to some theories. I would actually like to see friggin' WandaVision. Where are we here? Doctor Strange, Hawkeye, and yeah, I would leave it at those, and those to have kind of a setup for Young Avengers, which is another thing I have here, because we already have Iron Lad, and with WandaVision we can get Viz, which is like the child of Vision and Wanda. See how that would work with their all, like basically the House of M thing. That's probably
Yeah.
gonna be going on. So it's like have that like be the one thing that stays from her vision or whatever. No pun intended.
Right.
So
You know, it's funny to me how far off you're going with these theories. You're literally like going like,
reach.
yeah, dude. You're like I'm not even going like next season of television or like next 4 movies. You're going like, if this thing keeps going, we're gonna be like 12 movies deep, and like, because dude, like, yeah,
I'm planning
Like
Hail
Young
Marys
Avengers.
before we need them. So I'm like, I'm just saying. I mean, because we already have Iron Lad from the kid who was from Iron Man 3 and
Man
at
3.
Tony's funeral. So
yeah.
that's one. You could count. I had other names here. Give me a second. Go back up. You could. I had other people. Hang on. And then with Kate Bishop from the Hawkeye show, that's 2 down. And we
Yeah.
already introduced the Skrulls, which could be Hulkling. So like, there are possibilities here. You just have to make it work. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to force it, because forcing it would just not make it work. But I'm just saying, like, this is in
This
my
is
head.
Disney Plus you're talking, right? Like a Disney Plus series.
No, Disney Plus, or because they just said like Falcon and Winter Soldier and all those other Disney Plus shows will kind of link in somehow, probably
Mhm.
except for What If and Loki, but they'll all link into the greater MCU. And I'm like, if they all link together in the MCU, then we can kind of make this flow from one to the other. You know, that's a whole.
Yeah. I
That's
think
how
that's
I
kind
would
of
write it.
the reason they're buying all their properties back too is
Right.
for like Netflix and stuff because they want to be able to do that and have better creative control of it.
Right.
But to me, I could like my mind. I haven't even considered like that kind of like where the speculation would be
Yeah.
going for those future type shows like at all. Like my mind is literally focused on like because this is a rebuilding phase for them, right?
Right.
So like you got to get these movies right, and you got to make these shows interesting.
Right.
These first shows.
That's what I'm saying.
So-
Like, I'm not saying introduce all of them all at once. I'm like, build towards this. This is something we can build towards. We can also build towards Kang the Conqueror being another villain, because Thor.
Oh,
Fuck! It could be freaking Kang. It like makes an appearance in like one of the things. That could be good.
honestly, Kang the Conqueror would be a great villain to introduce for
Yeah.
whatever the next Avengers movie is,
Yeah.
because they've already fucked with time travel.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that like all of a sudden like you come up on his radar and he's coming for you.
Right. Plus, Iron Lad in the comics was actually a young Kang the Conqueror, not wanting to be Kang the Conqueror, so he's fighting against the coming threat of
Yeah.
which is a whole time paradox in and of itself.
Yep.
But anyway, I digress.
Be awesome. Oh my god! Imagine if you brought Robert Downey Jr. back for one movie, like down the line, and he has to go back in time and kill the kid. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. And these are just the story or points or whatever the phase that I had. It's like one of them you just said like this would be like the new phase one for the next 3 or 4 phases. Like this is
Right.
just laying another foundation. We've already built it and blown it up and restarted. So we're remaking the foundation. So we're relaying this,
Yeah.
thing. Um,
Unfortunately, I feel like this is no matter what, we've already jumped the shark with our like best
yeah, we
the
did.
best storyline we're gonna tell in the MCU. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. Although that's not true. That's not true because the X-Men universe is fantastic and full of
Yes.
plenty to pull from,
Yes.
and so is in Fantastic Four. So there are things that are gonna be good, but as far as these characters that people have fallen in love with, I think a lot of like broader audiences need to realize like, yeah, these guys are kind of going away. Like
Yeah.
this is like you're not gonna be. I don't know how much stake unless you love like Guardians because they got like at least another movie or two in them, and
Yeah.
then
In their contracts.
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, it was a thought. Um, I figured one thing that could be a holdover from the Black Widow movie would be Taskmaster, because
Yeah.
because that's set in the past, and I'm like, ooh,
So it's set after Civil War, right?
yeah, it's
The
like set just after Civil War when
before Infinity War. It's
yeah,
in that
because
time
Tony
frame.
looked at her and said, they're coming for you now. And we didn't really know who they were, but I guess they
Mhm.
would be whatever this is. So it could be a mix of flashbacks and like what she has to go through to do whatever to get where she's at in Infinity War, I
Mm.
guess.
I feel like so this is the they that people keep talking about. I feel like we're reading into that. I feel
I
like
know.
by they he meant like now you're on
The government's
like
radar, yeah.
You're on Ross's radar and he's
Yeah.
going to be coming for you because you let them escape. And
Well-
that was but I don't think they is sending Taskmaster. I don't think Taskmaster, although Taskmaster, by the way, I am shocked that Taskmaster is being used in Black Widow because to me that was like the next bill. If they had got to do Daredevil season 4, he would have been so good going up against Daredevil because it's like literally muscle memory, like ability, like constant muscle memory. So like Daredevil would have to like literally like come up with crazy ways to kick his ass. And it's
Yeah.
like, but it's good for Black Widow though. It is a good villain for
Yeah.
that arc. But,
Yeah. And I also think that it would. This is why I have this written down because I'd have a lot of ums. It would also introduce the new Black Widow because I think Black Widow's been not passed around, but like has been named a couple of times in the show, or not in the show, but in the comics. So that would be
her
that-
sister.
yeah, sister, or whatever, sister in arms, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so between Doctor Strange, and this is going on to, I'm just going off the points I have here. I don't know
Sure.
why I'm doing it this way, but I am. Sorry.
Go ahead, man.
Feel free to jump in. I'm like, this is a
Free form it, buddy. I
like
made
free
my list
form,
and read them
but
off. That was my thing. So as long as we check off each one of these, we'll be good.
yeah. Here's the paradox that is in my mind. I would have a freeform show that does this. Also, I have a list, so we could do this too. I'm like, pick one. Oh my gosh, sorry, but yeah. So
It's like a beautiful mind. You have so many things happening at once, and you're like trying to find your way through it.
right. Um, so the third thing I have on here is WandaVision is going to introduce the multiverse. No duh. Doctor Strange in the madness of the multiverse madness will explore it and try to fix it. What if will explore what if would explore the other worlds we didn't get to see yet. Loki would just muck about all the universes and add to the problems for Doctor Strange and whoever else is going to be dealing with the multiverse. That's kind of
Right.
my thing. We already did number 4 because of the whole casting combo for Christian Bale. Did that. Number 5, Shang-Chi will introduce Kunlun and their martial arts. I think Kunlun is the martial arts. I don't know why I thought the other way. Is that right?
Kunlun is the city in Iron Fist. I don't think that has anything to do with
Right.
Shang-Chi.
Okay, cool. No, because that's one of the things from Shang-Chi's thing, if I remember correctly. If not, I'm getting this all wrong, and I'm just blowing smoke out my ass, which is fine.
Dude, you could be telling 100% true. I know absolutely nothing about Shang-Chi other than what I Wikipedia'd when they announced his movie, because that's a comic I've never read. That's
Yeah.
a character I've never heard of. And honestly, like if it wasn't for the title being Legend of the Ten Rings,
Yeah.
I would have no idea what this movie's going to be about. But luckily, I know the Mandarin, so I know that is
Yeah.
absolutely a reference to that. So
Now, that's another thing I wanted to kind of talk about, because we had the Mandarin before in Iron Man 3, but it wasn't the Mandarin.
yeah, no,
So,
I didn't.
And I don't know if you watched Iron Man Armored Adventures when it was on Nicktoons or whatever. I doubt it. It was like
I did not.
2010s. Yeah, no. But long story short, there were the 10 ring, or started out being 5 rings, but since we've already talked about the 10 rings, both the Yang that was in Iron Man 1
Hmm.
and it being in the title, could the 10 Makulon rings, which is what the Mandarin wears and has like different um, attributes attached to them. I forget what all of them do, and I don't really want to look it up because I don't want to go,
Right, right,
So,
right, right. It's a different power for each ring.
right,
Basically, is what it
right.
is.
Um, but in the show, in the Iron Man Armored Adventures thing, which is still on Disney Plus, which is good. Get on that. Has 2 seasons, easy enough to watch. But within the first couple of seasons, you see the Mandarin, and it's again a leader of like this, not terrorist gang, but it's like leader of this clan almost.
Hmm.
And having just one of the rings gives him this full, oh, what is it? I don't want to say armor, but basically armor from head to toe. It's got like this whole thing. I was like, that would be a good way to spin it because the Mandarin back in the old days of comics when he was first introduced was really racist.
Yeah.
It was bad. Um, I might throw a couple pictures up in post production when we upload this to YouTube, just to kind of throw those up there. Be like, yeah, this is how bad.
So
But it's like,
my thought,
go ahead.
my thought about the Mandarin and the rings is there's two ways you can go with it, right? If it was going to be introduced in actual Iron Man, um, like especially Iron Man 3, post like knowing of aliens and stuff like that, it's easy. You attribute each ring being a like a gift from a different alien race or something like that he like took from a spaceship, you
Right.
know. And so that way it could have tied into like the like alien magic world that like
Yeah.
Thor helped create, you know. But with Doctor Strange now being totally just magic, like that is,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's no nothing to stop you from just being like these are mystic rings. And
Right.
in fact, he'd be I don't know if he won't be, probably won't be the bad guy in the Multiverse of Madness, but after he wasn't properly used in Iron Man, I thought he'd be an excellent villain to bring into Doctor Strange
Oh
for
yeah.
him to combat.
Only
So
only problem is Doctor Strange.
whoop his ass.
Well, that he's not really one of his villains. It's always been an Iron Man villain.
But that's historically you're right. But Marvel, now that it's a connected universe, they could take these villains and put them in a more appropriate place. Because honestly, the Mandarin's kind of a foolish fucking villain to have be Iron Man's nemesis. He's all mystical and stuff.
Well,
Like it just doesn't fit him.
yeah, that's always the thing though. It's like it was always mystics versus technology,
Yeah,
which was that was the ongoing battle. And friggin', I think it was Tony Stark said it in the MCU or whatever. He said it at some point. Something I watched like in like Avengers Assemble, which was the cartoon, or
I've seen it.
yeah,
I've
okay,
seen that one.
or Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and it was always magic's just tech I haven't figured out yet, which that
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
Assemble is what it was, and I was like, okay, but it's always that which is it really? Because we've had going off on different brand here. We've always had flash films. They're like, oh, it's magic. It's future tech. It's magic. It's not magic. It's magic. Okay, that's actually magic.
Yeah.
So it's like it's always up in the air about how you want to interpret it and how you want to do it.
No, I get it. I get it.
And,
And that like trust me, that makes sense. In even I get it. I've read the
yeah,
comics. I know that he's like historically there and that like it is like the brain of Tony versus like the like mystic mind of the Mandarin and like all that shit coming to a head.
yeah.
And that makes I get that aspect of it. I just I never liked him as a villain for Tony. You know what I mean? I
Oh no,
know
I get it.
historically his like biggest villain
Yeah.
realistically, but with Doctor Strange being already in the mystic realm, I thought it'd be an excellent
Oh
villain for
yeah.
him to go up against, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Trying to think. Those were all my points on all the things I had to say, really. So now I'm like, now I don't know what else to say.
well, if
But
we're talking, I think we were talking Doc Strange. So
yeah,
Multiverse of Madness. The title alone, it sounds like this movie should be being directed by fucking what's his face?
Taika.
Pan's Labyrinth. I don't know why I can't think of his name.
Neither can I.
Um, Guillermo del Toro.
Cool. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
not gonna look that up at all. I was just taking the time.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
That would have been fine if that was a Schmodown question. By the way, I had plenty of time for that. That would have come to me.
All
Uh,
right. Okay, give me top
Guillermo,
five.
yeah,
Four.
right. Guillermo del Toro. I feel like he'd be a great director for that because I feel like just the aesthetics that he brings to like creatures and stuff like that,
Mhm.
which I feel like that would be so good for in a Doctor Strange world. So hopefully they nab him because I know
Oh yeah.
that they recently does Doctor Strange with the director recently backed out and they're trying to find a new doctor for it. I mean, a new
I would have
doctor,
to.
a new director
A
for
new
it.
doctor. What is this, Doctor Who?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, it's just the doctor. Shut up.
Mm.
But yeah. Let me look into that while you're talking, because I
Yeah.
know they said that WandaVision is going to directly not influence, but have the inciting incident for the Universe of Madness.
Yeah.
So Multiverse Madness. What was I thinking? Universe.
Well, she's doing WandaVision and she's cast in Doctor
Yeah.
Strange. So
So
she's got second billing in that movie or third billing, whoever the villain is.
yeah.
Um,
But she's
but
the
yeah,
inciting incident, basically.
yeah,
Let's see
which
here.
makes sense. Her powers. It makes sense that maybe she cracks into the multiverse and that causes a whole bunch of shit to go down. But um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's
no,
see.
I'm really interested in, and obviously Baron Mordo. They're gonna have to bring him
Oh my
back because
gosh.
he
Yeah.
wasn't even. I mean,
The
he was.
bill comes due.
Yeah, exactly. The post credit scene for Doctor Strange. It seems like 1,000 years ago that I
Yeah.
was watching the Doctor Strange post credit scene. So I wonder if he's
Yeah.
even in the sequel.
Let's see. Um. Let's see. I'm looking through here. Oh, suggests return of a villain. Great. He's only had one.
Well, no, well, two, because if you count Mordo as being a villain
I
now, I
don't.
suppose.
Well, but a returning villain, I don't consider him a villain
Well,
until
it's got
the
to be
post credit scene.
Dormammu then. Dormammu,
Yeah.
because the other guy's dead. So I would think it's Dormammu, but
Multi director. Here we are. Let's see.
yeah, I thought the director fell out.
No,
No.
doesn't look like it. I mean,
I might be
again,
thinking of a
it's
different. I might be thinking of a different
Yeah,
movie.
Scott Derrickson's gonna be directing this movie though. So
I think he is the one that fell. I was about to say I think it was Scott Atkinson, but that's an actor. I'm pretty sure Scott Derrickson fell out of this movie. I think
no,
due
this
to
will.
conflict of with the studio. I literally just heard this news the other day. That's why it's fresh in my head.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, so I have it by Variety on the 9th, but it's like yesterday, friggin' RadioTimes.com, which I shouldn't trust that. Variety says it. Yeah, he did drop out.
Yeah, so he's out. So they should scoop up Guillermo del Toro. I feel like he'd be so good at directing a Doctor Strange
I
movie.
mean, we're playing with house money, but slow your roll.
True. But
But yeah,
I don't know how good he is at playing in a sandbox though. So that's the only thing because he's like, oh, I want full creative control, and it's like
it's
that's my
like
that's my Guillermo accent. It was nothing like it. It was
I did
Russian. It was
it.
Russian. I don't know where the hell that voice came
I
from.
have no idea either. Let's not bring it back out.
Um, but yeah, I could see him stepping in doing Doctor Strange or any of the darker things. Blade. He did Blade too. It was so good. Imagine they got him to come in and do the new Blade.
Oh my gosh.
He's so good.
Yeah. Let's see. But with actually speaking of Blade being back, do you think he's gonna be Phase 5? Like,
Yeah, I think so. Well, again, I don't know how long this phase is going to last. I guess I should have done my due diligence and listed out how many movies were in the last phase, so I knew exactly how many movies went into each one.
they're
Well,
in
there's been
flux. Believe me,
so,
I did the research because I was gonna do a writer's room on how to redo with the MCU.
yeah,
It was in flux. It was
so,
like 7 movies the first time, including Avengers.
hmm
Then it was like 10. I
hmm
think the next one. I'd have to find the book. I have all this written in.
Well, there's 22, right? 22 movies or 23 now. 23 with Far From Home. Um,
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
there's 22 with Far From Home. Whatever, doesn't matter. So, Far From Home ended the last phase. So we are I don't know. I don't know how many movies they're gonna do, but I would think these one, two, three, four, five, six. I would think these 6 movies that are listed right now are not the end of Phase 4.
Yeah. No. If anything, it's probably going to be the beginning of Phase 4, no doubt.
If Phase 4 is 8 or 10 movies, then we have at least 2 to 4 more movies left in this phase. So plenty of space to bring in Blade maybe. But
Okay.
again, if the Morbius and everything else counts, then I don't know.
Okay. So Phase 3 had 11 movies in them.
Okay.
I'm gonna check Phase 2. Whoops. Phase 2 had 19.
That can't be right. Phase 1 ended with Avengers 1, and that you just did 19 movies. I just told you there's only 23 movies total.
That's what it has here for from Marvel itself. I don't know why. Let me check. Essential Guardian Phase 2. Okay, Iron Man 1, Dark World, Winter Soldier, Guardians, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, so that's 6. Okay, 6. Okay, 6. Phase 2. Back and checking this. Now I'm on Wikipedia. Lovely. Okay, timeline. No, not that, not that, not that release. There we are. Oh, media. Oh, this is not helping me at all.
Because phase 1 was 6 movies.
Yeah.
Phase 1 was 6,
somewhere around
and
there.
then Phase 2 was maybe 8 or 9, and then Phase 3 was 11, like you just said, or whatever the hell number was you just said.
Yeah, I don't know where that number came from, but I was like, that sounds right. I'm gonna say that number.
11's probably right, but 19 is wrong for sure.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Come on, man. You gotta help me out here.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's all
it really
speculation.
doesn't. Whatever. Screw you.
My point is that it's not going to be 6 movies. The 6 movies that are listed that are definitely for the next 2 years is not the end of this phase. It can't be
Oh, probably
because
not.
if the other ones have 6 was good for the first one when you're introducing these base characters to get everything the ball rolling, but these movies you have here are absolutely. I mean, these are all one-offs. I mean, you might get an Eternals 2, but Eternals 2 won't come until after, till well after this phase ends. So
Yeah, so 6 was for Phase 1. I just went through the
right,
things in my head.
right, yep.
Then it was.
It doesn't matter, Travis.
I'm sorry. I gotta know. I just gotta know.
Phase 2 ended with Avengers: Age of Ultron. So,
Yeah.
so it's
Actually,
whatever.
technically, it ended with Ant-Man.
It ended with Ant-Man.
Technically, that's just
You might be right.
yeah. Because I remember doing the due diligence on this, and I have everything written out, like what movies were in what phases.
Phase 2 started with Iron Man 3. That's what I remember distinctly because that was the
Right.
next one after
Right.
that, and then Winter Soldier, and then
Yeah, we just went over that list. So yeah, there was like 6 in there.
yeah, no, there's at least I think Phase 2 had at least 8 or 9 movies, and then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's 23 of them. So the point is these 6 movies are not going to be the end of this phase. This phase will probably stretch till 8 or 10 movies, I would assume. So there's at least 2 more movies unaccounted for, and at most probably
Yeah.
4 to 5 more before, and that includes the 5th one will probably be whatever the next Avengers movie is, if it's Avengers at all.
Could be Young Avengers, could be Dark Avengers, could be
I think it'll be Secret
New
Wars.
Avengers, could be Secret Wars, could be
If you-
Secret
if I-
Invasion for crying out loud.
Mm. Right.
Because we don't know about the rest of the scrolls. We just know about the small batch that we have.
Right, they made
that
a
we know
very
of.
very specific point to bring up the fact that there's multiple different factions of Skrulls. Yeah, because everybody's expecting Super Skrull and everybody else to show up, and they didn't. So, but all right. Aside from Doctor Strange, I don't know enough about Shang-Chi to really dive into that one. I don't think any more than we
I'm
did.
not gonna touch it because we're
Okay.
2 white guys talking about an Asian-led movie, and
Oh,
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Dude, you can't hang stuff like on that. Come on, it's still MCU.
As
I mean,
Brett would say,
it's made for everybody.
as Brett would say, let's not talk about this movie and move on.
That's like saying we couldn't talk about Black Panther just because we're two white guys. Like I can talk
Well-
about Black Panther. I saw it. I own it.
Good. Moving on.
But I think let's go. We haven't touched on Eternals or Black Widow really, but honestly let's talk Spider-Man because that's a lot of speculation with the third Spider-Man movie.
Okay. So, sorry.
Am I boring you? I'm sorry.
No.
You asked me to be on here. Remember that.
I know. And I'm never making that mistake again. Anyway, so, what was it? Going back to, I'm thinking back to quotes I heard earlier, like ages ago. So, friggin', who directs these movies? No, it has. Kevin Feige pretty much said that it will be a new. He's not directing; he's producing the fucking thing. He said it would be a new villain and it's a story we have not seen on the big screen yet.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe it's Craven because if his identity is out, that would make it easier for Craven to be like, "Where is this Parker kid?" I'm like,
You know, I have to agree with you 100%.
yeah,
It's the storyline. I mean, there's even more to it. Think of the story. Think of the teaser image you saw in the Morbius trailer, right?
the
Now,
murderer.
now I know that wasn't our Spider-Man spider suit, but that does. I think you can attribute that to just being a street artist taking his own liberties with drawing Spider-Man.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think we can assume that's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I mean, it
Yeah,
could be. I could be totally full of shit, but the fact that it says murderer across
yeah,
that means the world perceives Spider-Man that way now.
yes.
And somebody like Craven, who enjoys the hunt, maybe he wouldn't have gone after Spider-Man if it was just an upstanding citizen, but a murderous superhero who's on the loose and not checked
Well,
and balances. I know in the comics, Craven just wants to go after the
right,
hunt
right, yeah,
of,
yeah.
of him because he's an animal-like creature and he's the best
One of a
hunt.
kind of cannibal. Yeah.
Right. But I'm almost wondering if his allure to think he would get away with it now in more regards is more heightened because the populace on whole dislikes Spider-Man now.
Thinking about Spider-Man 3, I would love to see a Deadpool cameo go, "Hey, you killed your first bad guy. Way to go.
Mm.
Who in the hell are you?" Hey,
I know.
language high school, man.
Yeah. I think it's got to
Just
be
that confused look on Spider-Man's face.
it's got to be Craven
Yeah.
just from the story perspective. Craven's Last Hunt is so good, and it's
Yeah.
literally, especially with this Spider-Man, because Craven's Last Hunt comes in when Peter Parker's in his 20s or 30s, if I'm remembering the comic run correctly. But he's not young. He's not so young when he goes up against Craven in Craven's Last Hunt, or is it Craven's Last Hunt? Is that what it's called? The
I
comic
think
book.
so.
I might be mixing the title up. But anyways, but this Spider-Man is like a teenager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So him literally going up against a superpowered villain who wants to murder him.
Oh my gosh.
He wants his head. Like
Yeah.
it's not like somebody who's got like an agenda. It's literally like wherever you go, I'm hunting you down and I'm going to try and kill you because I want to kill you.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
that's so much pressure on
Yes.
a 18-year-old kid. Dude, I get giddy thinking about it. Giddy,
Right.
and I don't use giddy lightly. Like absolutely, like that's the storyline that they need to tell. And if it's not more, if it's not Craven, I'm actually gonna be really bummed.
Right. Let's
Who do
see.
who do you cast as Craven?
Ooh. Ooh. Just for the lulz, I'm gonna say Hugh Jackman.
Oh, Hugh Jackman would be good.
But it wouldn't be him, though. It wouldn't be him.
Not Hugh Jackman. My mind. I go with Gerard Butler. I feel like he'd be an
Oh,
awesome.
yes.
I feel like he'd be so good.
That's the
Not to
dude.
give down.
I was trying, but again, that was for the lulz. Honestly though,
There's got to be somebody older. It's got to be like an old. Like it makes it better if he's going up against an older like actor like that. You know what I mean?
yeah. Trying to think.
For me, it's either him or or he's got to have. So you got to have not necessarily a South African accent like Craven has had historically in the
Yeah.
in like the cartoons and stuff. I guess in the comics, I've never really associated his dialogue with any accent. But is he Russian? Is he actually Russian?
I
Though,
have no
Craven?
clue.
Shit.
When I first heard him, I could have sworn he was Australian, but that's just me. Then I was like,
Mm.
West Africa. Oh,
No.
I misjudged that by a lot.
No, they're not. I mean, they're not that far. The continents aren't that far apart that their dialect is so different. But
I'm gonna
yeah,
look
it's
at him.
I don't know. For me, Gerard Butler's the first person. He kind of looks like the character as he's been drawn, you know. So I feel like
Yeah.
that would work really well. But I don't know. Joe Manganiello. How do you say that guy's name?
Ooh,
Joe
that
Manganiello. I don't think he could do the accent though. That's the thing.
no,
I don't think he could do the accent.
and that could
But
be fine because he
yeah,
could just be a guy like, it's like just put on a fake accent and like lose it halfway through the movie. It's like I thought you were this thing. I've lost the accent so I can fit in with civilization, and it's just
mm.
like no.
Actually, you know what? If it's just in Australia, if it's just trying to do a British accent, I bet Joe Manganiello could do it. He's big too. That dude's like
Oh yeah, that
huge.
dude's yeah.
So that was
And
him
he's a
going
huge
against
nerd
Spider-Man.
too, which is even better.
Oh yeah. And his honestly, he wasn't a very good casting for Deathstroke when they were trying to shoehorn that in for the DC. So to see
Oh
him,
shoot! Another thing that it could be, and I just reading this, I just thought of it.
But
He's a half brother to the Chameleon.
who? Craven?
Yes.
Oh, then I think he's definitely Russian. Then I think
Yeah,
I'm
he
screwing up
is.
the accent.
But I thought that
Um,
was like, I just realized I was like, what the fuck? It just that could be another villain that we've never seen.
it could be a good villain to bring in as his cohort, a
Yes.
cohort, like somebody
Yes.
he brings in, sub villain that like hell sussed out Peter Parker, and then Parker fucking kills him or something. I don't know.
I would love to see like Mysterio's not dead, and it's like him and Chameleon are just messing with him because Chameleon can
Mm,
make himself look like anybody, which is the kind of the
yeah,
point. So it's like he would walk around as Craven just to kind of mess with him, and then for everyone else, Mysterio would be like, "Oh yeah, he just killed that guy. You saw." It's like I'm over here, but that would just be a whole other thing. Better
yeah.
question though. You have to include home in the title. What are they calling this movie?
Jesus. Spider-Man homeless.
I was gonna say home turf or home field advantage. Yeah, home turf. I don't know.
Home is where the hunt is.
I'm done. I'm done. That's
I don't know.
great.
I know that they've done it for every the previous ones at home keeps getting included, but I just to me I feel like you can't keep going in that trend. You can't. It's just gonna get silly.
Home
It's
hunting.
it's like oh yeah, home hunting. It'll be like what do you call it? It's like the Die Hard movies. Like they just kept like getting like Die
Die
Hard with a
hard.
Vengeance, Die
Die harder.
Harder, yeah, Die Hard, Die
Live
Hard
free
with
or
a
die
Vengeance.
hard.
Yeah, like
Soon as
a
just
good
die.
good day to die hard. Like it's just you
Yeah.
keep getting crazier with it. Don't get crazier with it. Just if it's gonna be Craven's last hunt, just call it Spider-Man Last Hunt. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Or
have to be part. It doesn't have to have a home in it.
yeah, or it could be Spider-Man's first hunt because it's like this is his first time encountering Craven, who could be coming back around a little bit. If you have him
Yeah,
come around like a second or third time, then it could be last hunt. You know, for whatever reason you want to make up, but it could be that. Um, because
I don't.
I'm saying have him come back like two or three times, like on the third time kill him, because the second time could be with the Sinister Six. Because if you think about it, they got Vulture, Scorpion, Shocker.
Yep.
Um, I would say Mysterio, but Mysterio's dead. Dead.
Supposedly.
Yeah, dead. So you would have Craven and you would have Chameleon. So that
Yeah.
would be again if I'm casting this, it's six.
You need Rhino though. You need Rhino in there too. He's part of the Sinister Six, isn't he? And Doc Ock. We don't have a Doc Ock in this universe yet.
Mm, good point. But I'm just
I don't
thinking,
think Chameleon's and Craven. I don't know if Craven ever was in the Sinister Six. He's always been his own thing.
it was Ultimate Universe. It
Oh
was
yeah, 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 yeah,
him,
yeah.
Electro, Sandman. Um, him, Electro, Sandman.
Doc Ock, I'm positive was in there.
No, it wasn't Ock. Norman and Vulture were the ones
Hmm.
that actually killed Peter Parker.
Right.
So it was those five. So and then but Doc was there, but then he just got axed. So it was originally six, but then it just turned into five. So either way works. But yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, this Spider-Man's interesting because there's a lot of characters they have left out intentionally so far in this universe. Like
I
you've
mean,
left out
and let's just
Norman Osborn, you left
yeah,
out Harry Osborn, you left out well MJ's in there, Felicia Harding, like all these
yeah, Hardy,
characters that
yeah.
are they're major characters that haven't been introduced. So, but that's the point of expanding the other movies too, like Venom and Morbius. All these if they keep going with these characters, I mean, there's plenty of room for those characters to show up in those movies.
I would actually laugh if one of the first hints of crossover between all of the brands now, if you want to call them all of them, because since Disney's like absorbing everything, would be we would have Iceman Bobby Drake kind of move in with Peter as like a just like
Dude, and
just
they're
like
not doing Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends. It's
no,
not
no,
going
no,
to
no, no.
happen.
I'm not saying Spider-Man is Amazing Friends because I'm going back to the Ultimate Comics, where Johnny Storm and Bobby Drake were both Johnny Storm, yeah, Storm,
Johnny Storm. Yeah, it was
yeah,
Human Torch, Bobby
yeah,
Drake.
yeah. They moved in with Aunt May, who knew Spider-Man's secret, which she does
Hmm.
now. Peter, Gwen Stacy, who was technically a Carnage symbiote from a weird storyline tie-in thing.
Hmm.
Um, and then whatever. And then it was MJ was always bouncing back and forth between her house and his. So that was a fun thing. But I was
Yeah.
like, that would be funny. That would be funny. But if I said Firestar, no one knows who I'm talking about. So I'm like, I'm just gonna throw that away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Craven though. I think that's where this movie's gonna go. Honestly, it's what the fans want the most too. Any of the chat rooms you go into, any of the message boards, everybody's Craven.
What are you
And
craving?
like,
Yes.
they're Craven, yes.
Huh?
But so I would be shocked if that's not who they go with, and that's who I'd want to see right now, anyways.
Makes
And
sense.
then aside from Spider-Man, let's jump back into the Eternals, which I got to be honest with you, Eternals. It's another comic run that I know very little about.
Nothing.
Never read anything about the Eternals.
There's actually an app on my, I'll say laptop, tablet, which right now needs to get fixed. Not the tablet, the app. But it's like they have Neil
Gaiman.
Game. Thank you.
I've always said Gaiman. That's
Yeah.
a
But his run on the Eternals has like one book. I'm like,
so. Let
I
me tell you
should
something.
read this.
You just said you just said the two words to get me to read an Eternals comic line, and that is the words Neil and Gaiman in the same sentence, because he's my favorite author of all time.
Nice.
Across comics, across literature, like novels. He's my favorite. So if he did a run of the Eternals, that's gonna be fucking worth reading, I bet.
Nice. Yeah, that would be something I'd look into, which I'm about to as soon as this app gets fixed. And I'm like, come on.
It was the Comixology, because that's my.
I used to have that, but no, it's from my local library called Hoopla, which I was
Mhm.
like, cool. Well, like I said, right now it's down from my library. I was like, come on.
Look up Overdrive. That's like the same
Uh,
thing where you get
Yeah,
all these.
I was gonna go to that one next.
That's audio. Actually, that's audiobook. So I just told you
No,
total
no,
bullshit.
ebooks too.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, so you're not wrong. You're fine.
Good.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Not yet.
So we don't know anything about the Eternals other than the cast, which is like Game of
Oh my
Thrones
God.
dropouts, and then
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie. Didn't I thought I read that Keanu Reeves was cast in there too. Was he cast in this movie?
I don't remember.
No, he might not be. Maybe he was speculated. And then what's his face
Salma
from
Hayek was in there too.
Silicon Valley? And he just got wicked jacked for it. He did that
Oh.
image of
Oh God, yeah. No, I don't want to talk about him. He makes me feel bad.
I think his name's I don't even want to say his name because I don't want to butcher it, but I'm pretty sure it's like Kumail Najjar or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And he's
'Cause he has
awesome.
his
I
own-
love that.
Yeah,
Dude.
because he has his own show on Netflix called The Patriot Act, and I was.
Oh, that's somebody else.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a comedian. That's like a stand-up comedian. The other dude is the dude I'm talking about is the dude who was in he's in the show Silicon Valley, and then he was in The Big Sick, was his like breakout movie that he wrote and came out with, and then he's in a new one. He was in Stuber with what's his face
Oh.
Dave Bautista last year, and then he did
Camille Nanjiani.
Camille Nanjiani. That was close.
That's just my looking at his name. I'm like,
I think I said Kamir Najani. So
I
that was
don't-
close.
I'm reading it and I'm not sure I said it right, so that's fine.
You said it right. As soon as you said it, I was like, "Yep, that's it." But
Yeah.
but he's in it. He's
So-
playing character, and then obviously Kit Harington and the guy who played
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden.
So we got
so-
those two, Angelina Jolie, I'm not even going to try that because I might read it wrong, and I'm not going to say that on air.
She was in the promo image they just released with her and Kit Harington, the person you're talking about. I'm
no,
pretty
it's
sure.
a dude.
Oh, never mind.
Ma Dong Suk. I have no idea. He's called the Forgotten One.
No.
Yeah. Gemma Chan's probably back in this as what's her face from Captain Marvel. I think. I don't know. Which would be funny if the Kree were involved in this, but she's the only one, which would be funny.
I think she's playing a totally different character, though. I think
I don't doubt it,
She had
but
she had such makeup and stuff on that she
Yeah.
could play like a normal human character and it wouldn't be
Yeah.
so weird.
But I would find it funny if she was not playing the same character. I mean, if she
Yeah.
was playing the same character, I mean, that'd be cool. Selma Hayek, we already talked about playing. Not even gonna try that. Lauren Ridolph, Ridloff, Ridolph.
I don't know that actress.
Uh, Barry Cohegan, Keoghan. I don't know. And Brian Tyree Henry, which is wasn't he the guy who did? No, I'm thinking of someone else, aren't I?
You're thinking of Brian Dennehy from Rambo.
I'm not thinking of Rambo. I'm thinking of something. I'm thinking of who played Miles in
First Blood.
friggin'. Oh no!
I'm Brian Dennehy. That's not even Brian Dennehy. Is that Brian Dennehy?
No,
I
I
think
was
that is
thinking of
Brian
the guy
Dennehy.
who played Miles in friggin' I'm looking right at it. Into the Spider Verse.
Oh, I don't know the actor who played him.
No, he played Jefferson Davis. Okay, he played Jefferson Davis. Okay, so I have seen his name. Okay, Miles' dad, and the
Oh yeah. Yep.
because I say Jefferson Davis, you're just like
The Eternals. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know anything about them. I really don't know anything about them. I don't know power wise. I don't know story wise. I don't know where they fit in. I don't know anything. I thought the Eternals were kind of like, and this is totally bullshit. This is exactly why I don't know. But I thought they were some like offshoot of kind of like the Marvel version of like the New Gods or like stuff like that. That's what I always thought they were, or they were like kind of like the offspring that the Inhumans came from, is what I thought it was. But I don't think it is. I think this is I might be mixing some things up. I think I'm mixing up some storylines and some characters because I don't know anything about them.
no, you're right, because Jack Kirby did them both. I think both New Gods and the Eternals. He did the more cosmic stuff.
Yeah.
That's why they're kind of alike, because he was on Marvel, then it was like, no, we're going to do this other thing. And he went over to DC, and it's like, nah, I'm going to go back to do the Eternals or whatever.
Right.
So you're not wrong on that.
So these characters all seem similar to me. That it's
Right.
like I'm like I'm mixing up my New Gods and I'm mixing up this stuff.
Yeah.
But I never read a single Eternals comic, so I really don't know anything about them.
Now, I'm trying to remember this right myself, because I'm big into Comics Explained and Comics Story, and again, 2 channels. If you haven't subscribed to them, go. They're great. They explain things and keep you up to date. I forget where it was, what video it was exactly, but Comics Explained was basically going into the history of mutants, Kree, and all this other stuff. They're the ones who, excuse me for a second. I was like, wait for it.
That's a live
There.
sneeze, everybody.
Sorry. But I forget how it was that they created like 3 different races. But it was humans, I want to say Inhumans, and something else. But the humans came out, mutants came out of humans. Inhumans was their own thing. And I think it was, there was something else. It's either that or the Eternals were one of the other ones.
Yeah. The 3 could have been Eternals, humans, mutants.
No, mutants sprung out of humans. I
Oh,
remember that for a fact, yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Because Thanos was one of the ones that were a mutated one. No, they created the Celestials. That's what it was.
Celestials, yes.
Yes.
The Eternals created the Celestial.
The
I
Eternals
think
created the
if I'm
Celestials and humans, and I think humans. And that's why they're all 3 different, basically 3 different experiments.
Right.
But you have, no, not Inhuman. Was it Inhuman or something else? They created 2 of the 3. I know that much. I know they created those 2, humans and Celestials.
Yes.
They were their own little thing. What the third one was, I don't fucking remember.
Well, that's kind of my point. So I don't know story wise if these particular characters, because they seem like they're on Earth from the images I've seen. So if they're just walking around Earth, I don't really get if it's the timeline here. I don't know how they're going to tie in, or if these Eternals in this movie are descendants from the ones who created the Celestials, because we know the Celestials are billions of years old, and Inhumans and the mutant strain of Inhumans and all that stuff. But so I have no clue. I know that they're going to be powerful, so I'm assuming we're going to see probably the strongest and like most crazy powers we've seen thus far in anyone, but I don't know. I don't know. And like Kit Harington's character is just called the Black Knight. Like, what the hell does if he's the Black Knight? Like, what reference does that have to history and to like American history and stuff like that? Or not American history, but Middle Ages and stuff like that. But
Right.
I don't know. Big question mark. The Eternals.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking into this like right now, because I'm looking on Polygon.com, and they're going through all these other things. One of the headlines is the Eternals are sort of the origin of the Marvel universe, which I'm like, that's what I want to look at.
Yeah, that's what I know about them. That's pretty much it.
Millions of years ago, giant beings known as Celestials descended from Earth, from space, and genetically experimented with Earth's humanoid population. This, in the Marvel universe, is canonically how humans evolved from our ape ancestors. That's what it was. So,
So the Celestial created the Eternals.
hold on. Um, right, but Homo sapiens weren't the only result of Celestials' experiments. So Celestials created the things. They also created deviants, misshapen creatures with no genetic stability. Each individual looks like they belong to a different species, and Homo immortals, better known as Eternals. So those are the three.
Okay.
They
So
created deviants, which is okay. So Thanos is a mutated deviant. That's what he is.
mhm,
So that's where that came from. That's where he came from.
right.
So humans, which sprung out both Inhumans and the mutants. So that's how that came around. The I just said it. The deviants again, Thanos and all that other shit.
I would assume the Deviants are probably our villains in Eternals, the first movie.
Mm, it's like saying
Unless,
That's like saying humans are going to be the what's it called? The villain to a Bond movie. It's kind of you can't take the overall general species and then kind of name them the villain. You know.
well, that's the whole thing about the Eternals is they are spawned from the Celestials created these things, right? We already
Right.
know humans, we already know the Celestials. So this doesn't. If you're gonna make they're called Deviants for Christ's sakes. That's like the Decepticons. Like that they're bad guys.
Not so much that they're bad guys. It could be just like deviant like genetics and nature because like I said, each one of them looks like they belong to their own species, to another species. So that's where we could get different things like scrolls and everything else. Like that could be our
Yeah,
alien exploration.
yeah. I guess you're
So
right.
it's
I guess if I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to put a rational
oh yeah,
bow on
that's
on a
fine.
project that I know nothing about. So my
That's
immediate
fine.
mind
I'm,
is
I'm
probably
just
the
giving
Deviant.
you like based off of what we read just now, or what I read just now. That was kind of like the comic background of it to kind of give it more base and kind of get
Right.
it grounded ish. Because we're talking about comics, we're also talking about being grounded.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be grounded, but I need to be able to wrap my head
Right.
around it while I
Right.
see it. So
Right. So, I mean, if they're on Earth, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's. I mean, it could be today, duh, but it also could have something to do with like they're looking into their ancestors and how the Eternals or the Celestials came and messed with us. Because the Celestials, for all we know, could be the bad guys.
right.
We don't know. Um, there's that. No, it's a lot. We're not going to know anything until after we see a trailer,
Yeah.
or at least
Which
more gets told about it.
I would imagine we'll see a teaser trailer in
Yeah,
front of Black Widow.
I would love to see it during the Super Bowl because that's when you're going to have the
Hmm.
most eyes on it too.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we could probably see a teaser then and then a full blown trailer at Black Widow.
Hmm.
Because Black Widow's May, so I mean
Yeah.
that's about 5 months. Yeah, June,
Also, when
July,
does that come
August,
out?
September, October, November, November. This November.
Oh, it comes out this
So
November. Oh fuck.
yeah, so yeah, it's 7 months. 7 months after Black Widow drops. So, wait, no, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, 6 months. 6 months after Black Widow. So, it seems like a good spot to drop it. The Super Bowl might be too early, but hey, you know what? Stranger things have happened. So,
Yeah.
but if it's just a teaser, then
Huh. Yeah, I'm going to send this article over to you so you can get a grasp on it, I guess, so you can kind of understand it.
yeah.
See what I saw. So my cat
I did a little bit of base research when this was announced, but it was like a year ago, so I don't remember
Right.
when I looked. But
But
but again, like
it's never too late to be like, hey, this is what we're diving into a bit.
right.
Because
Uh,
it's nice to research things, but you don't want to do it all the time. Otherwise, you don't look like you know what you're talking about.
Hmm. I don't mind not knowing I don't mind looking like I don't know what I'm talking about on these
I
channels.
mean,
As long as I have somewhat of a grasp to be able to hold up a conversation, that's all that I care about.
oh
And that's
yeah,
exactly what I have.
yeah, and I understand that completely. It's just for me personally, I'm just like, it's not that I have to know. I'm not Sheldon. I'm okay with knowing more than other people, but I also want to learn. I just don't want to learn.
Right.
I just don't want to learn as I'm projecting my things because I could say one
No, I
thing,
get you.
be completely off base, and I'm like, let me back that up real quick. I'm like that. I have been burned with that train of thought so many times for so many
No, I get
different
it.
things. I'm
I
like,
get
I'm
it.
not gonna do that.
There's also something good in saying that like you don't want to learn everything about something a project from Wikipedia either. You
Right,
know, like Wikipedia is a great source for like oh I didn't know anything about this. Let me see if we get a base on this comic, and then you
right.
read that, and then you dive into the comics. You know,
It's
because
like, oh,
that's
Neil
what I
Gaiman
do.
wrote this. I'm gonna read that.
Exactly, right there. You just like I said earlier that
Yeah.
is the sort of thing that I do a lot, and then I'll go on massive comic runs. And my wife's like, "What are you reading on your phone?" I'm like, "It's a comic book. Leave me alone."
It's like we're doing research. Leave me alone. I gotta read.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So like that's like the Long Halloween. I never read Batman's The Long Halloween, and then a rumor came out that the next Batman movie might be, influenced by The Long Halloween.
Yeah.
Like that's a comic line in Batman that I just never got around to reading, and I read it, and it's friggin' unbelievable. And I can't believe it took me so long to read it. I might never have read that had I not had the prior knowledge of what was potentially down the pipeline with it.
Right.
So
Right. Right. It's
so
like, yeah, and I that's why I love going to my local library, which to me my local library is like that way, like all the way over there. But it's like because they have like graphic novels and what's it called? Graphic novels and collections. I forget. There's another word for it. Paperback trades. Trades is what I'm thinking of. Trades. I like some of the newer stuff. Well, New 52 stuff. And I'm like, cool. I kind of dip my toe in this, and this. They have Watchmen up there. They have Before Watchmen. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm good.
They got omnibuses of Marvel comics.
They
You're
actually
checking it
do
out.
have
Really?
the compendium, the first two compendiums for Invincible. I'm like,
Wow, dude, Invincible. Like you probably can't. I can. I don't know if you can see it. If I there, watch this. Ready?
oh,
Hold on.
this will be great.
Right up there behind
Ah, I see it.
me.
I think. I see it. I think.
In the middle. It's in the middle, next to my Dark Knight DVD.
That's what that is. Cool.
I love Invincible. That's another one though. I wouldn't have. I stumbled across something about Invincible. I
Yeah.
was like, what the hell is Invincible? And then I liked Robert Kirkman from what's it called, The Walking Dead books, and then like I was like, he did a superhero book. I'm like, he did, and I like went and grabbed that, and like
Nice.
again, Invincible's an amazing storyline that it's going to be an animated series on Amazon either this year or um,
Really?
yeah, animated too, which is awesome. I mean, I
Yeah.
would have preferred live action for that show, but
That's
you
very
can't.
hard to do live action.
Yeah, it's too out there. Although the boys they did do
Oh,
the boys, and that was really
oh,
good. So
oh, my heart. Let's go. Yeah, but yeah, but I feel like I could talk about comics with you for hours, just stuff we actually know.
yeah,
But yeah, so I think that'll do it for all the Marvel stuff. I mean, did you just want
yeah.
to turn this into a like
We didn't really talk Black Widow much, but honestly,
there's not
it's the next one. Yeah, it's the next one down the line. A lot of
yeah,
people know a lot about it based on the trailer. We know the timeline that it's set. We know that Taskmaster's the bad guy. He's a pretty sweet bad guy. Um, but and yeah, I don't really know what else. That's one that again, I don't know that I needed. I necessarily was craving a Black Widow movie,
right,
but after Endgame, I thought she was so good
yeah,
that I was like, before Endgame, I was like, it's getting its own movie. Does she need her own movie? Like, what the hell is a Black Widow movie going to be? But I hate to be that guy. I don't want to be like the
right,
misogynist guy that's like, I don't want a chick movie because it's not it. I love Wonder
right,
Woman. She's
right,
like so good. But Black Widow's character is not one that I cared about much.
right,
So it's the character versus the movie. But
yeah,
but after Endgame, I was on board, and I want to see this backstory. And for everything the trailers have shown me, it looks fucking great. So I'm there. I'm gonna be there day one, obviously, and
yeah,
I love Taskmaster. As soon as they announced him, I'm like, oh, what a great villain!
right. Yeah, that was so good. Man, I mean, do you want to talk about just comics in general for like another couple minutes, or do you like have to skedaddle?
I can go a few more minutes. I can go to 9:15 here. How about that?
Okay, that works. It's like another 3 minutes. That's fine. Yeah,
4 minutes, 5 minutes. We'll shut it down by 9:20. How about
okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. I know how you are with your time stuff, so I just want to make sure we're good for time and such. I try to give you enough time if you can.
No, I appreciate that. We're good for a few more minutes though.
Okay,
We're
cool.
good.
But yeah, so it's like, so have you been reading any comics lately? Like just friggin' like anything recent? Like it could be literally anything.
So comic wise, the last comic that I actually read all the way through it was two Batmans. I did Long Halloween, which I loved, and I did Hush, which I never read. That's another one that I never read. And I
Me,
love both of them. I love
yeah.
both of them. Hush was really good, and um, the like I said, Long Halloween's really good too. So those are the two recent comics I read.
Nice.
More not necessarily in the comic realm, but in the fiction realm, I suppose. A lot of my time's been kind of consumed with this crazy Sherlock Holmes novel called the what's it called? It's like the Cthulhu case books, dude.
That sounds awesome.
Dude, it is awesome. It takes Sherlock Holmes and pits him against the like acolytes of like Cthulhu and all this real supernatural stuff. Which Sherlock Holmes historically, there's supernatural stuff you think in books, and he debunks them in every one.
Nice.
It's like Scooby Doo. It's like
Right.
who's behind the mask, but it's
It's an old man Jenkins.
yeah,
I
exactly.
would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you
That's
meddling kids.
that's historically what happens with Sherlock Holmes books. But this one's the opposite. This one is they dive into it. It's a 3 novel arc, and the first one was so good. I'm in the second one now, in the midst of it on Audible. I just listened to it on my drive into work,
Nice.
and they're really cool. And I know that it'll never get done. I love Sherlock on BBC and Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Benedict Cumberbatch and Marty Freeman play this version of these characters going
Nice.
up against the like Supernatural, because it's so good. And so it's not a comic book, but it feels like it would be a
Right.
comic book the way I'm listening to it. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's it for me. What about you?
For me, I've been not so much reading as much as keeping up with like Comic Story and Comics Explained stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I've been keeping up, but it's like one thing I want to read for myself is I have it all. I've bought books on Comixology before. Like I bought all 3 Crises,
yeah,
and I bought like everything leading up to and including Dark Knight's Metal. Sorry.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I was like,
That's a weird comic run.
yeah, no, not really, because it's like I bought the important story bits, so it's like Final Crisis, The Return of Bruce Wayne. I bought Battle for the Cal because it was there. I got volumes 1 and 2 of the New 52 Batman, which was
Yep.
Court and Night of the Owls. I got the End Game, which is like volume 7, and then I got all the event stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is essentially, if you want to read it, this is what you read in this order. You don't have to read all of Final Crisis. You can actually skip that, but The Return of Bruce Wayne to that would be good. Another thing I wanted to read was Jericho seasons 3 and 4. If you remember the show Jericho, that was on CBS for like 2 seasons.
Yeah, yeah. The Fallout show, right? Nuclear Fallout
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah. That thing.
Yeah, I do.
It has its own 2 season run on comics. So I'm like, I want these in my life.
With Skeet Ulrich is the main character of that show, right?
I think so. But then one thing I actually want to read for myself because it just wrapped up on Comic Story and was actually Smallville season 11. Has like 9 volumes of comics. I'm like, I need this. I need to read this.
I didn't know they wrote comics for Smallville, to be
No, no,
honest.
they did seasons 1 through 10 on TV, but to kind of wrap up the show,
Oh, so I get you. It's the actual Superman bridge in
yeah,
comic form.
it's the
All right,
epilogue, if you will, the season 11 epilogue of this. And I was like, I
right.
want more Superman. It gave us the Superman we wanted. So introduces things like Batman 1/1 Impulse and everything else. So I'm like, cool.
That's awesome.
But I want to read more indie stuff though. That's what I want to read. I want to read more indie stuff and even stuff that's indie popular, like Invincible, because
Yeah,
I had all 3 somehow. Impendiums, Code did the big books, the really that
compendiums.
word. There's like 3 of them, and I have all 3 of them on my thing.
Yeah,
Plus one book. If you haven't read it yet, I would actually. I'm going to say this till the day I die. But Irredeemable is a very, very good thing. They have 2 omnibuses for both halves of the stories. It's a 10-volume story. It is so good. I started reading this thing in like volume by volume, and I'm like, this is the best Superman book ever. But it's not Superman though, which I was like, that's cool. Um, Marvel, there's a lot of stuff I want to read. But one last thing I'm gonna throw out there because you brought up Scooby Doo earlier, and I found it funny that you did that. Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Read, or at least if you don't have the time to read it or find it or whatever, Comic Historian has a full story. It's like an hour and a half long. I don't know how long your drive is or whatever. When it's like when you get done with the Sherlock stuff, or if you want to take a
Yeah.
break from it for like a little bit, listen to this. You will not believe the story of this thing. It is a post-apocalyptic, monsters are real by
Scooby
technology.
Doo.
Yes,
Jesus Christ.
and it's like you get to know a bit of this version's Velma, which is funny. She's like two other brothers who fuck the world over, which is funny. Um, and then I'm not gonna say what the big bad is, but it looks like. Have you ever seen the movie? I think it was Cyber Chase, was it, or whatever the animated thing with the virus demon thing?
Yeah, yeah, the one that looks like a big lightning bolt.
Yeah, that one.
Hmm.
That's kind of what the big bad actually looks like in this thing. It's awesome. So I was like, I thought that was a nice little nod. But there's a
Really,
lot. There's
the bad absolutely should have been the fucking the 13th demon from the chest of demons from the old school Scooby Doo run.
But yeah, it's definitely something looking into. They actually have Scrappy in it, which is really funny. But yeah, it's a whole like reimagining of like Scooby Doo in like a
Yeah,
post-apocalyptic future thing, which is awesome.
I love the. Let me. I'm looking at my comics back here behind me now. Actually, I have. I'm a huge fan of this. You made a. It's another. I think it's. Is it Robert? Might also be another Robert Kirkman book. But did you ever read Outcast?
No, I haven't. I've never even heard of it.
Oh, it's so good. So it's literally like he's how do I sum this up? So it's a horror book, really. So it's this like demons come up from the ground, but they can't survive unless they're in vessels, which is why anytime you've ever seen an exorcism, anything like that, and so it's like they're living in these humans, but then this kid, his he's not a kid, he's a man, but like when he was a
Yeah.
kid, his mom was possessed, and she like kept locking him in a room in like a closet to keep her from getting to him. Like she was like fighting the demon inside her and all this stuff,
Hmm.
and then like something happens where like he as a child like grabs her and like he forces the demon out of her and like. And like, dude, it's crazy. And then like, but she was so far gone because this thing's like riddled the inside of her that she like passes away anyways, or goes catatonic or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's other story like demon, like there's like a big demon that's like walking. It might even be Lucifer, but it's like he's walking around and like all these demons keep coming after this kid like throughout his life, and they're like trying to get him, and they keep calling him outcast. They're like, oh, you're an outcast, you're an outcast, and like so I don't know. I never finished it, so I don't know what that means, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming it was like he's also like a fallen angel or whatever, but he never went full demon.
Oh,
And like
nice.
so he's like possessed by that kind of a spirit, so he can like get rid of demons, but at the same time it's like all this horrible shit happens in the books, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
like one of them possesses his sister, and like his sister's like she kills her own husband, and then like
Oh,
and then
damn.
it leaves her, and then it leaves her, so she's like dealing with like the consequences of like murdering her husband, and she has no recollection of it, and like dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's such a good comic run, and like I said, I never finished the last couple, so I really don't even know ultimately what it is. But
Right.
the first two or three graphics were so good,
Right.
and that was I'm big on like horror comics too. And then
I can
I'll read them all, and then I'll stay up all night like just thinking about them and then like shutting my eyes and be like, what if one of them's in the house? Just, like,
It's like I'll read this
can't go to
entertainment.
sleep.
Now I'm
That's
paranoid.
It's like I gotta read this scary ass shit, and then I'm like, I'm also gonna go to sleep watching reruns of some kind of nice Nick at Night show to keep me
Full House, why not?
occupied before I go to, yeah, there you go, before I go to sleep. But
Yeah. You brought up this is the last thing I want to talk about. You brought up Comixology before.
yeah,
Before I started buying my books, I always got the ones that were free.
yeah.
Do you do that?
So I have the subscription thing that
Okay.
you do
Yeah,
through,
the unlimited.
through
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
so you can get all the free books. But I've also purchased a ton myself. So I have.
cool.
Let's see, actually, hold on. You want to see it? Let me compare notes with you really quick. Let me.
yeah. No, that's fine. I just want to bring that up because there's a few that I thought were cool on here. A lot of number ones.
Comixology. Oh, there it
The
is.
first one off the top of this list is Doctor Strange and the Sorcerers Supreme from the run from 2016 to 2017. That's issue number 1. Fear Itself, Youth in Revolt, issue number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Future Foundation or Fantastic Four, however it was done, it's just FF. 2010 to 2012. That first issue is on. And Galactic Guardians from 1994 is free. And I'm like, I want to read that.
Mm.
That. I'll leave the other two.
Yeah, my
I've
my
got
go-tos that I got down here. Let me see really quick. Something that I read recently that I loved. If you've never read the Immortal Iron Fist run,
I think I have that
the
book.
who wrote this one? I think it's
Yeah,
goddamn, who wrote this comic?
but yeah,
Now I
it's
got
like that's what I love because we get a lot of
Ed Brubaker. Uh,
nice.
like that dude. The Immortal. It basically, this is what made me excited when the Iron Fist show was getting made. That's one of my favorite comic runs ever because
Nice.
it takes the character and basically puts him in the Marvel version of Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Like
nice.
all the seven cities of heaven, Kunlun and all the other ones
Mhm.
bring forth their warrior to fight each other. Dude, it is so good. And like I was like, holy shit, Iron Fist is gonna be the best show ever. And then it was like not at all what it should have
Oh,
been.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't get that. I'm looking through here. I got the first issue of Gideon Falls. I never read. I probably should. It's just all the free shit. I was like, all the free shit I always look at. I always, just in case I lose the chance to get it, I'm like, I'll get that. I'll get that. I'll get that. I'll get that. I'm done.
Yeah, and then you're left with a bunch of comics you don't even want to read.
No, not even that. They're just indie comics that are just there. I was like, sure. It's like, but one of them, what was it? The DC event that happened today, not today, but last year. You're the Villain. The first issue was free on Comixology. I'm like, I'll take that. It was free, but also if you want to get the hardcover or not hardcover, but the paper, the physical copy, it was like a quarter.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, cool. Now they'll sell you to like $25. I'm like, I got mine for free.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it's like it's just that's something else I want to try and to call. I want to read those and review them because there's like a few of them. I'm like, oh, this could be fun. This could also
Yeah.
be shit, but it could be fun.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of a lot of good comic runs out there, a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff. One of the ones I started to the physical copy of, I have them, but I'm looking at them right now. Is I have a I have a good run of I have the full collection of Why the Last Man, which I only read the first two, and that was supposedly a show that was in production, but I think they canned it actually, but.
Mm.
That was a great show. That's the kind of show that like I honestly like if I ever could get my wife into reading a comic book, I'm like, you should read Why the Last Man. It's all about like chicks running the earth. And like and she'd probably like it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, way to nerd flex. Let me see. I got my books over here. I got them over there.
Dude, I literally like my light's in the way, but I'm like, I got a bunch of comics right here, and they're like right there. And then there's another series I can pimp right now that if you like Transformers at all, like if
Oh,
the
that's another thing I want to read. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but it's like
yeah,
the one thing you brought Transformers I just clicked in my mind was I want to read the entire version of All Hell Megatron.
oh,
That
that's a
would be
good one.
Yeah, that's something good. But go ahead.
That's a
Sorry.
good one. So there's a comic run. I think I have a couple back here. I don't know if I do. Yes, I do. So here, let me show you. I will.
And every time you're like, let's see if I have this, I'm just gonna be like, you're just flexing
So
a little
this
bit.
comic, this run right here, this stack of books that I have here is from it's More Than Meets the Eye is what it's called, and it's basically it takes Transformers, set in a world post the '86 movie, right? So like forget about the real movies, but the 1986 movie where like Galvatron's alive and all this stuff. And Megatron's alive too. There's some split that happened. I missed that issue, but basically, big war happens. The Autobots and Decepticons finally aren't fighting anymore, and it's like they have all these Decepticons in captivity, and they're like, "What are we gonna do with them?" And it's like, I don't know. And then all these other, what are they called? Like they call them nails, but they are basically the Transformers that didn't want to take part in either side of the conflict.
Really?
Yeah, they all left Cybertron. They all come back, and they're like peaceful, and they're like trying to reach make Cybertron like a great place to live. So a lot of the Autobots feel uncomfortable. A lot of the Decepticons feel uncomfortable, and they're like, basically, there's this huge thing. And Prime's like, I'm done. Like, I have no part in this world anymore after the fighting. I just want to be left alone. So he flies off. He's not even in the comic run. But you have Rodimus Prime, or Hot Rod, I guess, is Rodimus Prime in this run. And a bunch of Autobots and a bunch of Decepticons get together. They take a spaceship off to go look for their creators because they need a mission. They're like, we need a mission. We need to do something. We're going to go try to find the creators of our species.
I smell sitcom.
Yeah, Knights of Cybertron. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of like great banter and stuff between them too. And as they become basically friends across this trip, but like there's tons of bad guys they run into, like not even just Decepticon defectors that they haven't run into yet, but like there are those. But it's fucking awesome. It's basically Star Trek meets Transformers, but
I
And
think
it's
that
so good.
crossover actually happened too, which is really funny.
But this is if as if the crew of the
Starfleet was it?
Enterprise,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the crew of the Enterprise are the Transformers, and
Nice.
I can't swear by that story enough. And it actually got a spin-off comic called Lost Light, which is the ship that they're on, and that I haven't read that run yet because I still haven't finished More Than Meets the Eye. But this is an incredible comic run. Like it's so good, and Megatron's in it. Megatron's in the comic as he's basically he's a good guy now. It's so weird. He's a good guy now. He realizes that his cause was like he caused more harm to the species than he intended to, and basically he's like trying to make up for it, and nobody trusts him or anything like that, and he has some of the most compelling story arcs.
So,
It's very good.
so basically, he's the Loki of that troop. He's like, I'm not going to stab you in the back this time.
Yeah, it's truthfully, and he nobody trusts him. Nobody trusts him at all. But he really doesn't do anything, as far as I've seen so far, that is not
Mm.
true to the character saying because he's got all these internal monologues and shit too, where he's like I made mistakes. He goes, it was Prime was right, and like all this stuff. He goes, it's awesome. Like it
Huh.
really, I can't swear by it enough.
Nice, 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 nice.
But
I only say I want to finish reading the whole of All Hail Megatron because I read the first issue
mhm.
and it was like humans. This is like two Decepticons just land out of nowhere. It's like humans. We are here to make peace. We are here to. They start
Yeah, they
busting out
just
laughing. They're like,
yeah,
ah, screw this. Boof. I'm like, oh
mhm.
fuck.
Yeah.
So if they did that as a reboot and then worked in GI Joe, you could have a Hasbro universe.
I don't want them to combine those two storylines at
You
all.
know they're
And
going to though. You know
I
they are.
know they say that they're going to, but let me tell you something. Bumblebee was the best Transformers live action movie that they made out of all of them,
Which
and
is
that was
no, no,
and keep going in that keep going with that story.
yeah.
Don't give me this crossover bullshit. I don't want GI Joe. I don't want Mask. I don't want the Micronauts. I don't want any of that shit in my Transformers universe right now.
That was a funny thing. People are like, oh, that's the end of it, right? Because as soon as he does that, he meets the Witwicky kid. I'm like, no.
Years later, but see, it's so weird. It should have just been a full reboot. They were like,
It
it,
is. It is a full reboot because when
it
no, no, no.
is.
It is because if you remember in the first Transformers, the only Autobot that's on there is Bumblebee. Everyone else lands in that movie. Prime lands there, but by the time they get there, Prime is already. Wait, is Prime on that planet? I forget if Prime was there.
No, they land in the first movie, but that it does reboot that part of it. But there's so much. But why keep Bumblebee voice thing? Why do that? That's so stupid.
No, but
Why keep?
they ripped it. They literally ripped it out though, so he
I know,
literally
but
can't talk.
they did that in the prequel comic to the first Transformers movie, which I have right here back behind me. If you want me to pan over and show you again,
Keep
but,
flexing. Go ahead.
but the
Just keep nerd flexing.
dude, Transformers is literally it's like my childhood was Transformers. So
Yeah.
I love Transformers so much that even the bad Bayformers movies, I was like, I'm still gonna see them all in theaters because I love them so much. And then, like, obviously, by the time that like the fourth and fifth movie came out in that franchise, I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't hide my hate for these films.
I
Um,
was about to say you and Roku would have a really good discussion. He's the only other one who likes those movies either.
I would so I don't like the movies, and I don't think
Yeah.
Roke and I could agree with that. But I could be in a panel with him, Mark Ellis, and Christian Harloff talking about Transformers, Dennis Zen too, and like I would absolutely be a major contributor to that conversation, and I could defend some of the movies, and I can point out like he like I will never say they're a good movie. Roka says they have to be good movies because they make all this money. I'm like that historically is incorrect, and but I'm like just look at the ratings and look at what they're giving you. It's not good, and the rating on Bumblebee is the dead giveaway to
Yeah.
how I feel about it. So, but
Yeah.
but you're right. It was a reboot ish, but
Yeah.
they needed. I wish that I
It
wish
was a
that they didn't.
reboot cool. Is what it was. It was a reboot
I wish
cool.
I wish they didn't rip his vocal cords out if they were going to go for the reboot. Because honestly, Dylan O'Brien voicing Bumblebee in the beginning, I liked it. I was like sick. I was like, I like this kid voice, and I knew they were going to rip the voice out. I mean, it makes for the what though? It makes for that first story still impactful though because she helps him find his voice and all that
Right.
stuff. But repair his fucking voice box if you're going to do another one because I don't want it to keep
Right.
going with this version of Bumblebee. I don't.
Right. No, that makes sense. But it's like I don't know. And I don't like the fact how they teased it at the end of the first one, the first Transformers movie. It's like, I wish to stay with the boy.
Yeah.
Next movie, I'm so excited. And I'm like, pick a
Oh,
lane, people.
Michael Bay. Michael Bay's an idiot. Michael Bay's literally like, well, I like this one. He's like the kids. People really like Bumblebee, so let's just keep going with the voice thing. It really hit in the first movie. It's like, but you already set up that it was fixed. Like, and you could have easily written in, he touched the Allspark and fixed his voice. You know what I mean? Like,
And
it literally writes itself.
Even Sam Witwick, he's like, he's playing it up. I'm like, bruh,
Yeah.
either he's playing it up or he doesn't. Because like the rest of those movies, he keeps talking with the radio. I'm like,
Except for the shit
until
last night.
until last night, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I didn't watch it. I didn't care to. I was like,
He speaks again, and then they're like, "Oh my god, he speaks!" Yeah, no shit, he did it 5 movies ago. You stupid prick! Like
yeah, right.
Michael Bay, literally, he must have a tattoo on his body that says continuity with a fucking circle and a line through it, because
Yeah,
he doesn't know continuity in his own movies.
right. It's like if there's anything I find truer to Michael, yeah, Michael Bay. I was about to say Michael. I was about to say someone else's name that starts with a V. I'm not gonna go there, but
Michael Vick?
yes, I don't know where that came from. But I was like Bay, Michael Bay. Um,
I feel like Michael Vick would have better continuity in his movies.
ha, ha. There's a joke.
In a lot of, dogs getting abused.
I was about to say I'm gonna leave those jokes alone.
I'll make.
That's fine. But it's like friggin' Michael Bay in like Epic Rap Battles of History. The one line in there is like, I take my checks to the bank and I sign them with my nuts. I was like, what the f is wrong with you, dude? Because he probably does.
It's a shame what happened to Michael Bay though, because the freaking
The Rock.
The Rock is so good. The Rock is so good,
But you
and
know the
even
funny
Bad
thing?
Boys 1 is good. Bad Boys 2 is pretty good.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in forever, so I'm just gonna take.
I like Armageddon. I like The Island. Like those, he
My
had
favorite-
some good movies, but it's
My
just,
favorite thing he did was that Got Milk commercial.
oh yeah, before he got wait, you talking about the one before he got the
Before he got anywhere, that was like the first thing. It's like that works.
now give him Armageddon, or he got The Rock first. I think
Yeah.
The Rock was his first movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The Rock was great, but you know what? How much of those great '90s movies was Jerry Bruckheimer though? Because like he, as a producer, like I wonder if he fucking like was like, "Hey, Michael," like, because it's his first feature film. He's like, "Yeah, just do your
He's
action
yanking
shots,
that leash.
do your-"
Goes, nah, 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 nah.
And then Michael Bay's like, "I am bigger than Bruckheimer. I don't listen to him anymore." But I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's just no.
Yeah, no, he's I'm done with. I can't stand Michael Bay. I won't even watch the free movie on Netflix that he just released.
Oh dang! I didn't even know he did.
Yeah, he did one with Ryan Reynolds, and I like Ryan Reynolds, but I'm not gonna watch. Yeah, it's called like Six Underground or something stupid
I
like
thought
that.
that was a show. I keep seeing the ad for it. I was like, whatever.
Movie. Actually, you know what? I can't give Michael Bay too much. He made one movie since the first Transformers movie that I enjoyed that he made, and that was 13 Hours, the Benghazi movie. That one's really good, and I think it's only good because he somehow stopped himself from Michael Baying all over it. Like he's like a small story with like characters you learn to care about, and like
I would say give him friggin' what is it, G.I. Joe, since his military movies are good, and just leave it alone. Just see what happens. Because at least with G.I. Joe, it fits.
yeah.
Big explosions, grenades, and weapons.
I don't know how's he gonna write like subjugating women and like having them bend over in front of stuff into the G.I. Joe movie.
He'll find a way. He always does.
He's gonna have Scarlett do it, and
Oh my god.
what's the bad guy chick in G.I. Joe? I don't remember her name.
Raz Gilbert was the Baroness.
Baroness, yeah, she's gonna we'll have her do it. Well, you know what? She was drawn a very specific way, so
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it fits as much as we don't want it to. It fits.
All right, I think with Michael Bay tangent's a good place to end
Yeah,
this.
so we're gonna call it here. Of course, you can find me across all social medias at the Ryan Cross Project or on Twitter at the Ryan C. Where can they find you?
You can find me across most social medias at the Loud Bostonian, YouTube, where I do my weekly reviews of shows and movies, and a whole bunch of other stuff in the pipeline that will be announced soon.
Yes, yes it will. Yes it will. Don't you have another show slash channel thing you want to plug before we
Um,
go? Or you wanna
I
go?
have so I got one coming up that is again it could be something that we bring into a future announcement. But one of the things I'm working on is I had a show that in the pipeline for a while that I was gonna release called Beer and B Movies, where I get together with some buddies, drink some beers, and watch the worst movies imaginable, and then review them.
That was
But I've actually
amazing.
changed the title. I changed the title. Beer and B Movies is good, but I realized I should really play up the Bostonian thing, and I decided to go. I decided to change the name to Wicked Bad Movies. Which is, I think, is going to work a little bit
Nice,
better. So hopefully,
nice.
no one on YouTube steals this title before I get a chance to actually officially make it a
Oh no,
channel. But
knowing me, this will be archived way after we've done this thing live, so you're good.
all right,
I was gonna say something about Babel, but never mind.
oh, Geek Babble,
Yeah.
yeah. Geek Babble's another channel that I'm working on too. But again, like I said, that's going to be tied into some future stuff that me and Travis will announce
Oh
soon.
yeah.
So I'll leave that. I'll just leave that one out there for
All
the.
right. All right. So yeah, from all of us here, from both of us here, thank you for tuning into our first Twitch stream. I appreciate y'all. None of you that were here. We will see you guys down the road. Peace. And
All right.
we're out. Yeah, that was fun.
Yep. It's funny, we actually got the content we wanted to get done in almost that hour time frame, and then it was just other shit kept us going. That's what happens every time.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I like to say like Geek Babble is, to me, the show I would love to work on, to work with you on.
Yeah.
The most because it's like this that could be our SEN live.
Right.
And I don't want to say our because I know it's yours, but it's just for
No,
something
dude, I
later
get
on
it.
down the road.
Right.
You know?
As far
Also,
Loud
also,
Bostonian is my thing. That's my
okay.
thing. Everything else that I have to do in a group setting on here, I is fair game for you guys. If you guys
Okay.
wanted to do it, like I said, if you want to do an episode with Dave or whoever of Geek Babble because you have a good topic and I can't do it, do it. I don't
Okay.
I don't care about that at all. So
Also, keep in mind we are still recording in the background, so don't let any names slip, because I don't
oh,
know how to beep out names.
just when you go back over it, you do a little ad dub and you go.
Pretty much. It's like for that little time code. It's like
Yeah.
just like overthink.
So,
But yeah, thanks, dude. That was
hey,
great.
yeah,
And
man, I appreciate it.
of course, my pleasure, man. I just wish that it wasn't as like. So let's see. I have 1, 2, 5, 6. I'm like I don't. I hate the lists because it feels like a forced structure. But that's why I like Geek Babble, where we can just like we're just talking, dude. It's like
Yeah.
just talking nerd shit. Whether it's comics, movies, TV, things we've done,
Yeah.
stuff we've done online, whatever. If it's nerd related, cool. Otherwise, fuck it.
Yeah, my vision for Geek Babble is literally like there'll be topics I want to talk about,
Oh yeah, of course.
but overall, I just want that just to be like you said, like Send Live. It could go anywhere, like
Yeah.
that's what I want it to be. And
Like I just
I'll try to direct people back at their couple topics, but I'm gonna limit it. Like I'm not gonna have a full list of things like that. I mean, I could, but it'll probably be like 1 to 3 topics that I want to
Yeah.
touch on during the full 2-hour recording.
right now.
So
When it comes to our other project, quick question. I don't want to hold you any longer post
sure.
show. I got a couple questions I could text you, but you're here.
No. Go ahead. You go.
Did you want to branch that out to where it's like, because like I said before, there were many different types of nerds. So it's like, did you want to do like a music? I'm getting acid. I'm not eating well, so I'm getting acid reflux and gas out the ass, which is bad.
I'm so glad that we are doing this over the internet and not in the same room.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like, did you want to like, would you be okay with like incorporating like, and that Geek Babble thing? Would you be okay incorporating like, not necessarily movie talk, but like other aspects of geekdom? Like, I don't know if you would consider professional wrestling geekdom, but it's like just different topics that we bring in our own collective geekdoms to the table. That makes sense.
You can talk about whatever you want, man. That's
Okay.
it's as long as if you have something you want, like I said, like Send Live, you can talk about whatever you want. If you get something you can bring up that you think the other people might want to know about, that's totally fine. I don't know anything about wrestling. I haven't watched wrestling since I was 12 years old. So for
Okay.
me, for me, like when Stone Cold like got the belt back from The Rock, that was like it was the highlight
That
of
was
my
it.
wrestling. And
Gotcha.
I'm like, I don't need to watch this anymore. It's nothing's gonna be better than that.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Okay.
that's when I stopped watching that. So I don't know anything about that, but like music, video games, anything
Okay.
you guys want to talk about, you bring up. And if you have someone, like I said, if whoever is on with us knows what you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it before we actually go
Yeah,
live.
yeah,
But like absolutely bring it up because if just because I don't know anything about it doesn't mean I can't contribute to a conversation.
yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna be like Brett where he like sometimes it's like he gets like overshadowed by all the movie talk when he doesn't
Right.
really know. Like I will jump into any conversation. I will throw myself into a conversation I know nothing about, and then realize that I made myself look like a complete ass on the
Yeah.
back end of it. So
Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna do like drunk Brett reviews, but I would love to do a DT review, like not once per episode, because we both know when I drink, I get very forgetful. Which is why I'm not drinking on any episodes ever again. That was a nightmare. It was funny to watch back, and I'm like, I was so fucking stupid, but it was just, it's funny. So it's like, yeah, there's the guy going after the bad guy.
yeah,
His names
it was all right.
escape me, but then they have lightsabers.
That's authentic,
Star
dude.
Wars.
That was authentic. It was all good.
Yeah, it was funny.
And honestly, that conversation about our speculations for the Rise of Skywalker, I like better than the Rise of Skywalker. So that just goes to show you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, but I actually have a question for you. So I feel like there's been like a lull in like the trivia world as far as our things. Is this like what's going on? Do you have any insight to that? I mean, I know that you set up some matches for the
Yeah,
tag,
yeah.
but like I feel like it's been pretty quiet on the.
That's because like two people that are involved in like IG in the movie division, they're on a wrestling cruise right now.
Right.
So that they were both gearing up for that, recovering from the holidays, getting stuff in line. They got their own
Sure.
jobs. For me, I just lost track of it because I've been
Busy.
busy trying to find a job. But yeah,
Mm.
so I've been trying to do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have questions I need to write. Oh yeah, I have this I have to do. Oh yeah, I'm fucked. So so I've been writing questions a little bit and doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get things rolling.
Because I gotta tell you, man, I was on a high after that trivia, that my tag match. I
Oh,
felt
yeah.
so good.
Which
I felt so good.
Yeah, which I forgot to tell Haven. I was like, bro, if you want this on there, I'm about to delete this thing. You gotta screen cap it and put it on there, bro. I'm not gonna get mad at you for doing it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, just kind of do it that way. He hasn't done it yet, so I'm like, whatever.
Do you guys keep track of like actual like wins and losses and stuff like that across the divisions, or?
I ran something by them to just kind of, for this year, wipe the slate clean.
Okay.
Starting with these next matches. I haven't heard back from them, and I'm not going to make a unilateral decision going, this is what we're going to do for the tag division.
Right.
Movie division, because I want it to be unified, again, like it's overall thing. They're like, oh, you're in charge of it. I'm like, okay, but I'm still going to ask for opinions on stuff before I do it.
Right.
Because I know people who have worked hard to be undefeated, like the NWO, that they are there for a reason. I do not want to take that away from them. But also, if they're the only wins and loss record that I know,
It's not good.
right, it's not fair.
Right.
And it shows blatant favoritism, which it's not. It's just the
Right.
only one they're undefeated. It's easy to
Right.
remember, 4-0.
Yeah.
Also, I just don't have the time to go back and watch every match we've done.
Yeah. So you know what I would do if I were you? Honestly, I would just say, if you're gonna scrub the whatever, have them still be the champs. Be like, you guys are gonna be the champs of this, and the defending champs like for this season, and people need to work up to play you.
Okay.
I'd be like, so they'll be undefeated and the champs, but like as far as like keeping track of the records, you're like, it starts now,
Yeah.
but you guys will start the champions. I think that's what I would do.
Yeah, because that is fair. It's like there are a lot of new teams, and I'm like, it's also giving you a blatant unfair advantage because you've started this, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I might run that by him when he comes back from the cruise. I'm like, hey, so I'm not making a unilateral decision, but I'm making a unilateral decision. I'm going to nuke the win-loss records.
Mhm.
However, since you were undefeated going into the end of last year, there you go. You
Right.
guys are champs. You guys are the tag champs. I'm naming you the tag champs because of your win-loss record.
Right.
So
I
it's
think they'd
fair.
probably be okay with. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, they're gonna be okay with being a champs because why the fuck not?
As long as you let Amity Calamity come over as 1-0 right now in our because that was a rookie match. That's a perfect match to give us a
Yeah,
starting
yeah,
one
yeah.
0.
That's fine. It's just the team you went up against may not be together anymore because of different situations and such. And I'm like, oh, so I'm not gonna get any more of that because I don't remember the post and such. But it's like, uh, so I'm gonna. I would pump the brakes on that, but I will let you know I will keep that under consideration. But
That's
moving,
great. You're gonna strike my match off the record after
hey,
after that awesome victory. You know I almost had a perfect first round. You caused me to miss it by 1 point.
no, I caused you to miss it by you not getting the question right that I wrote.
Yeah.
So it's not my fault. I wrote the
Nobody
question.
nobody's seen Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. That's horseshit.
Could have challenged. I would have said no, but you could have challenged. But
No.
um, but yeah,
All right.
I will have to nuke it and just be like done with it. Just make a
That's fine.
unilateral decision, just to be
That's
fair.
fine. All
All right,
right.
so I will talk to you later, brother. Thank you for hanging out with me as much as we have, and
Yeah.
this concludes the B-roll officially for other things. And what we're talking about, I will talk about later after you skedaddle if you have to.
Sounds good, man.
All right, peace, dude.
See ya.
All right, guys. The one thing we were talking about there was Jack of All Trivia, which is on Facebook at the Jack of All Trivia Facebook page, obviously. Facebook group, rather. That's how you get matches and everything else. I am the commissioner of the tag division, which means I set up the matches. I do have discussions like that. I'm not gonna, that's how I do things. Two guys we were talking about were James Shimo, who does his own streams on Twitch and everything else, and Haven Pendergast, who is the movie division league proper. They do all the general movie stuff, kind of like me, but singles division. James does the inner geekdom, which is the if it's nerdy like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, comic book movies, etc. Whatever you can throw that under, that's what they do, and that's where we are here. And I've had them on a couple. I don't think I've had them on yet. No, I have had. I've had James on once. That was good. But yeah, that'll be it for me, guys. I will see you guys later. And thank you for sticking around for this a little bit. You guys are awesome. I always appreciate those who are sticking around for the B-roll. Love you guys. Peace. And we're out. And see ya.